Hey there! In my last video I mentioned this airworthiness directive, AD in short, applicable to the Lycoming engine of my bird after a prop strike. And maybe I was a little bit hyperbolic when I made this quip about how hitting one blade of tall grass would require an engine teardown. But this AD really contains some strange wording, so I thought I'd read it to you. It's AD 2004-10-14. Compliance. Compliance with this AD is required, as indicated before further flight, if the engine experiences a propeller strike. Definition of a propeller strike. For the purpose of this AD, a propeller strike is defined as follows. 1. Any incident, whether or not the engine is operating or not, that requires repair to the propeller other than minor dressing of the blades. 2. Any incident during engine operation in which the propeller impacts a solid object that causes a drop in RPM and also requires structural repair of the propeller. This is not restricted to propeller strikes against the ground. And number 3, and that's the interesting one, a sudden RPM drop while impacting water, tall grass, or similar yielding medium where propeller damage is not normally incurred. Well, now, that's kind of absurd and certainly leaves a lot of room for interpretation. For example, we often landed on really nice grass strips, and when I taxied back, I would sometimes hit tall grass. And taxiing in this environment, I would constantly work the throttle. So how was I going to detect a sudden drop in RPM while hitting a yielding medium? What is sudden? And how much of a drop in RPM? And in most of those sorties, there would always be some green stripes on the prop plates, which would wipe off easily. And that would be enough to require an engine air down? I don't think so. Well, regardless of that, in my case, there was some structural damage to the prop. So according to number 1, the application of the AD and the teardown was merited. I learned this. But I also learned something else. Someone pointed out that one of the great hidden advantages of those lightweight wood composite props is that in the case of a prop strike, they absorb a lot of energy which would otherwise be transmitted to the crankshaft and would do some damage to components in the engine. At the time, I didn't think of it. I probably was too upset to go into scientific thinking or engineering mind, but that's okay. Well, that was all for today, and stay with me, and I'll see you next time.